Stay with me until the end of this story, because what begins as a simple struggle turns into one of the most inspiring journeys you will ever hear. This story is written in slow, clear English, so you can learn vocabulary, grammar, and natural expressions without feeling lost. It's about a boy who had nothing, no money, no father, no support, except a burning dream he carried inside his heart. And by the end of it, he changes not only his life, but the future of an entire village. Part 1. The Boy Who Carried Too Much. Tarek was only 10 years old when his world shattered. His father, the strongest man he had ever known, passed away suddenly one cold winter night. The tiny house felt even smaller after that, quieter, colder, and much heavier. His mother tried to hide her tears, but Tarek saw them every morning. He saw how she worked longer hours in the fields and still returned with almost nothing. He saw how his younger sister cried because she was hungry. And he knew, even at 10, that childhood was no longer something he could afford. So he started helping neighbors by carrying water, cleaning yards, and selling small handmade baskets in the village market. People always said the same thing: "You're too young to work this hard." But he would smile gently and answer, "I must." Inside him, a tiny flame was beginning to grow, a flame made of responsibility, love, and fear. Part 2. Nights filled with books, days filled with work. Every morning before sunrise, Tarek walked to the nearby farms to help with harvesting. He came back with aching legs and blistered hands. But when the sun went down, he lit a small oil lamp, opened his old school books, and began to read. The lamp flickered. Sometimes the wind blew it out. Sometimes he was so tired that the words on the page blurred together. But he kept going. "Why do you study after such long days?" his mother asked one night. "Because I don't want this life forever," he whispered. "And I want to change yours too." His mother said nothing, but her eyes shined with pride. Part 3. A Stranger with a Question. One evening, a volunteer teacher visited the village to check attendance at the small school. He noticed Tarek sitting alone, reading under a broken streetlight. The teacher approached quietly. "Why here? Why not at home where it's warm?" Tarek looked up from his book. "There is no light at home tonight. We couldn't afford oil." The teacher sat beside him, deeply moved. "What is your dream, son?" Tarek hesitated. He had never told anyone, not even his mother. "I want to be an engineer. I want to build real roads, real schools, and real water systems. And I want to give my village everything we never had." The teacher didn't laugh. He didn't doubt him. He simply said, "Then you must keep reading, even if the world tries to stop you." Part 4. The Mountain of Challenges. As Tarek grew older, the challenges grew taller. His school was far. Books were expensive. Food was sometimes only a piece of bread and a cup of tea. But the hardest challenge wasn't hunger or tiredness. It was the voice inside him that whispered, "You can't. You're poor. Boys like you don't become engineers." Whenever that voice grew loud, Tarek remembered his father's last words, "Be stronger than the world." So he pushed forward, day after day, night after night, dream after dream. Part 5. The Exam That Could Change Everything. When Tarek was 16, A national scholarship exam was announced. Whoever scored the highest in the district would receive full support to study in the city. The entire village whispered, "Maybe this is Tarek's chance." He studied under every possible light: oil lamps, street lights, moonlight. He memorized formulas, solved problems, wrote essays until his fingers cramped. On exam day, he arrived with only one pen, a bottle of water, and a heart beating like a drum. 3 months later, an official car drove into his village. Children ran behind it, shouting with excitement. A man stepped out and asked, "Where is Tarek?" Everyone pointed to him. The man smiled and said, "Congratulations, son. You ranked first in the district." For the first time in years, Tarek cried uncontrollably. Part 6. A New World in the City. The city was loud, busy, and full of opportunities Tarek had never seen. Tall buildings, big libraries, classrooms filled with computers. Everything felt unreal. But new challenges came with it. He didn't understand the city accent. He didn't own good clothes. Some students laughed at him and whispered, "He's the village boy." But Tarek refused to break. He studied harder than everyone else. He helped teachers, volunteered in labs, and stayed in the library long after it closed. Slowly, his reputation changed. The same students who laughed at him began asking for help, and he always helped because he remembered what it felt like to have nothing. Part 7. The first step toward his dream. Years passed. Tarek graduated with honors in engineering. When he walked onto the stage to receive his certificate, he saw his mother in the audience, wearing the only dress she owned, crying with pride. A professor approached him after the ceremony. "We are offering you a position in our research team. Your ideas can change real lives." Tarek accepted, but he made one promise to himself: "I will return to my village." Part 8. Returning as a different man. When Tarek stepped back into the village, people almost didn't recognize him. He wasn't the skinny boy with torn shoes anymore. He was confident, educated, and full of plans. The villagers gathered around. "You came back. You really came back," an old neighbor said. Tarek smiled. "I promised I would." And he began working. Immediately. Part 9. Building what he once dreamed of. With government support, donations, and his own savings, Tarek built a clean water system, a small hospital, a modern school, new roads connecting the village to the city, a training center for young people. The village, once forgotten, became a place of hope. Children who used to walk miles for clean water now studied in bright classrooms. Mothers who once cried for food now had jobs and skills. And every time someone thanked him, Tarek simply said, "I'm only giving back what this village gave me, a dream." Part 10. A legacy that will never die. Years later, Tarek stood on a hill overlooking the village. The sun was setting. Children were laughing. The roads were clean. Lights were shining in every home. His mother walked beside him. "You did it," she whispered. "You saved us." Tarek looked at the village and smiled softly. "No," he said. "We saved each other. I carried the dream, but this village carried me." And the flame that once burned quietly inside him became a shining light for the generations after him. Thank you for watching and listening. For more stories, please like and subscribe and share your comments.